In the first stage, typically, projects are focused on the customer-facing areas, and companies are very busy with omni-channel strategies, with customer analytics, etc. While in the second stage of digital transformation, which we call digitally integrated enterprises, companies are focusing on digitizing their back-end processes and integrating them with the front end. So really you have an integrated end-to-end customer centricity. And then what we find today in 2017 is that many companies around the world have taken the measures to transform their front end, so they are in stage one, and they have also digitized their back-end processes and integrated them with the front end. So many of them have gone through stage two as well. But now we believe the time has come really for every company to think about this third stage of digital transformation, which is digital ecosystems, and this is what today's webinar is about, because we believe it is absolutely critical for any company to consider how this new stage of digital transformation, how digital ecosystems will impact their business, and really start to look at partnerships and adjust their technology and their transformation strategies accordingly. So today I want to focus, I hope you see my second screen now, on 3 points. I want to look at the driving forces and also the impacts of digital ecosystems. I want to show you some examples where we currently already see cross-industry ecosystems emerging. And of course, I also want to look at how we believe that digital transformation and IT strategies will have to be adjusted to be prepared for what's coming in the ecosystem economy. So let me start with the driving forces, why we believe the time has now come for digital ecosystem to emerge not just in some single test stages or in some single industries, but really more across the board. We have, on the one hand, we have very strong demand-side drivers, because what we see is that we currently live in increasingly complex and dynamic market environments. Look at very fast technological change, rising variety of services, connected devices, connected communication channels, and in this complex environment, customers are in substantial need of easy troubleshooting. They want fast and integrated solutions for a specific problem and for a specific context, and they don't want to deal with too many different vendors and websites and apps and payment solutions. Now, take, for example, if you're going on a business trip, you don't want to deal with different apps for your air trip and for your hotel reservation and for your travel expenses and any other services related to your business trip. That means the more integrated a service is for a given context, the higher is its value for the customer. And that
Nicole, we can't hear you anymore. Nicole?
Integrate devices and machines from different producers and better meet customer needs. One clear manifestation of this trend is, for example, the emergence of smart assistant systems, as we see it from Google Home or Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa. And these services really orchestrate and control various services as well as the devices. And with the rising use of such integrated assistant systems, we believe that individual apps will become much less relevant than in the past. If we look at the supply side drivers, it is, I think, becoming more and more clear that being part of a healthy ecosystem will become a very crucial competitive factor for businesses. because the potential of an ecosystem to create value for a customer in a given context, as we have seen before, is well beyond what a single company can achieve. So ecosystem value creation clearly outpaces individual value creation. And especially the ability to quickly develop relevant service and product innovations will rely on the interplay between various partners, and that bring very different perspectives to an innovation process. So I think this is especially true in an environment where we see that service innovation is driven by service aggregation and by service orchestration as well. This is also accelerated by a lot of technology advancements. Look, for example, at analytics and artificial intelligence that enable a much better understanding and addressing of customer needs if you take it from an ecosystem and not just from an individual business. At the same time, you have the possibility to use APIs for very fast and easy service integration, and we've talked about IoT already that enables product and service orchestration in a way beyond what was possible in the past. And maybe the last point here is that we also see that collaboration in an ecosystem has become much easier than just a few years ago, because today we have, all the cloud environments where you can easily share data. You have augmented reality where you can remotely handle devices. You have digital workplace solutions for real-time collaboration. So also from that side, the collaboration within ecosystems with different partners has become much easier. So as a result of these drivers, we believe that digital ecosystems will develop much faster in the years to come, and will have very significant impacts on the future economy. First of all, we believe that there will be a redefinition of traditional value propositions from individual innovative services to service aggregation and orchestration. We also see that we will continue to see, we've seen that in the past already, that over the past years strongly, that value chains are increasingly emerging into value networks. But I think this will become much stronger. Take, for example, if we look what has happened in the digital revolution so far, it has primarily affected individual industries. For example, I don't know, Airbnb has disrupted hospitality, and Amazon has disrupted retail, and Uber has disrupted the taxi business. But when we look at smart digital ecosystems, we will increasingly see cross-industry partnerships that will impact various industries at the same time. For example, connected vehicles, they will equally affect the automotive industry, but also the insurance industry and the logistics industries and other related industries as well. So what that means is that we really have to rethink our traditional perception of industries and markets, and also of vendor categories, because in this digital ecosystem economy, the competitive advantage will no longer be determined by the strengths of a single company, but really by the strengths of the entire ecosystem it operates in. And I think this is very important to keep in mind, and changes the strategic view on many of the things that we are doing. Of course, these developments are not entirely new, and we are already seeing quite a number of ecosystem evolutions in various markets. At PAC here we have defined the 10 focus areas that you can see here on the screen, where we see strong digital ecosystem development, and they are all spanning across multiple industries and not just affecting one industry. And of course there are many overlaps. If you look, for example, at connected vehicles and smart transportation, there are overlaps. Of digital factory with many of the other, for example, smart energy solutions, but we have tried really to define those 10 areas and look at them more in depth, and we have seen what we find in all of these areas, that there are signs of very strong digital ecosystems emerging. And I want to touch upon just a few of these areas here. One of the most vibrant areas, in my view, in which digital ecosystems are currently emerging are smart city ecosystems. You all know them. And where it becomes very clear that a large variety of players from very different areas are working together. You have government agencies, and you have administrative bodies, and you have telcos, and you have local business, you have tourism, you have utilities, research institutions, and whatever, coming from different areas, and they collaborate to improve not only operational efficiency of cities or administrations, but also to provide innovative services to the citizens or also to the visitors. One interesting example, for example, I mean, there are a lot of smart city solutions emerging around the world. One that I found very vibrant is Amsterdam. This is just a selection of some of the projects that they have on their smart city platform. It's a very comprehensive smart ecosystem with a very large variety of services. It includes everything you can think of around cities: virtual power plants, public test environments for beacons, smart grid initiatives, emergency services, smart traffic management, and so on and so forth. So this is a very nice example where you can see also that often those smart city initiatives and other digital ecosystems have at their heart a data platform, in this case often an open data platform, where different partners can collect and also access data and put their value-added services on top. And sometimes it's run by the communities or cities themselves. Sometimes it's in collaboration. For example, Las Vegas has a smart city platform where they have partnered, where the city has partnered with Audi to launch a platform for traffic management to collect data from the cars. Another example that is, I think, very prominent, and all of you know examples here, but that shows very nicely as well that digital ecosystems are not just in piloting stage, but already offer very comprehensive and integrated and orchestrated services to their customers, are smart home ecosystems. Again, they rely on partners from different backgrounds, ranging from home security to utilities to entertainment and connectivity, for example. And I think we see a large number of these smart home platforms in many countries. In Germany you have the Energy platform. In UK you have the Hive platform. In France you have HomeLive, or in the US Digital Life. Often they are initiated or run by a domestic utilities or telecom provider. But if you again look towards Google and Amazon, they are less local. They are following a more global approach, and additionally integrate the smart home with entertainment services around video streaming, audio, as well as voice control. So this is another area where I think it becomes very clear what digital ecosystem might look like and point to what it might look like in other industries as well. Last example, digital health ecosystems. This is an area where we clearly see that the collaboration and also the exchange of data between various parties can significantly increase the customer value, can even be literally vital. Here we have often, again, a data platform that provides the heart of the ecosystem and ensures that all parties in the care process, for example, including doctors and nurses and therapists and family members, are informed about the patient's health and the status and can act accordingly. I have brought two examples that I found quite interesting. One is the connected health ecosystem of Qualcomm Life. It's an open ecosystem that enables members to plug in, and it connects data from, for example, medical devices, from therapeutics, from the patients itself, from devices or from wearables. And then it enables developers and partners and providers to develop services, integrated services for patients that are linked to, for example, healthcare providers, to therapists, or also health insurances. Similar project, the Siemens Healthineers digital ecosystem that will officially be launched, I think, in autumn 2017, where Siemens, as one of the key suppliers of medtech infrastructure, partners with a number of providers to really enable a fast and easy and very seamless interaction of data and knowledge between different healthcare providers from different sources, and provide APIs to enable, again, application developers and solution providers to create new apps and market them and bring them to patients. And you can imagine, if you have such a data insight from all over the world with medical data, the insights that you can gain from that and the value added that you can bring to patients is really huge. So these were the examples I quickly wanted to show you to make it a bit more visual what we are talking about here. But let's come to the impacts. What does all this mean for digital transformation strategies and for IT strategies? And we believe that on a very general level, we believe that companies urgently have to start adjusting their individual digital transformation strategies from focusing on the individual business to really encompassing a broader network of partners and really apply a new kind of ecosystem thinking. And that also means that we all have to scrutinize some of the, what we call, or you can call, digital transformation wisdoms that we've talked about a lot over the past years. And we really have to look at those things that have become key focus areas of digital transformation and ask ourselves if they are still applicable or if they have to be enhanced. One example is, we've talked a lot about omni-channel strategies over the past years. Really providing integrated customer experience on all channels and integrate them has been one of the key focus areas of digital front-end transformations. We think in an ecosystem economy that would not be enough. Because it's a very vendor-centric view. Take here the example of a car rental company. They provide all those channels and they might integrate them very well. They have the contact center and the website and an app, and they are on social media. But still, it's focused on their individual service. Whereas if you think of an ecosystem economy, it will be much more important to be part of an integrated service offering around a specific need or around a specific context a customer is in, than just being present on all channels. One interesting example that we see, for example, staying with the car rental example, is a collaboration between SAP, Concur, Hertz, Nokia, and some other partners that say, okay, we really look at the car rental experience, and all the partners in the ecosystem provide specific services that we integrate, and that's not just focused on the car itself, but it includes, for example, well, this is related to the car, driver settings, entertainment systems, but also things like routing to parking, routing to fuel stations, trip reporting, travel expenses. And you can imagine yourself, if you are in the context of a car rental, it really helps a lot to have all those different applications integrated, all those different services integrated, including navigation, including payment solutions, including toll collections, for example, instead of just having different channels to your car rental company. Another example of a digital transformation wisdom, if we can call it so, is customer journey mapping, that has been praised as the key method to optimize our customer experience, which is certainly true. But again, it's a very vendor-centric view. You look where your customer is moving from first touch in social media or marketing, then visiting the website, using your app, talking to your contact center, then going to the shopping, to the online store, and then maybe having to contact customer service. In the ecosystem economy, we believe that customer journeys will have to be mapped much more across multiple services and related ecosystems for a given context. Because if we talk about ecosystems, the purchase paths are no longer linear, and also they touch various different providers and different services, so that you have to take into account the solutions of other companies that are part of your ecosystem, or that are part of the context your customer is in. Ecosystem mapping would be much more a context-centric view than a vendor-centric view. Again, if you take the example of a trip, you look at the payment solutions and the airplane provider and the public transportation, you have shipping, you have the hotel, and this might not be one single provider, but various partners in an optimal case within an ecosystem that are working together and seeing where their different services interact and overlap, and how you can aggregate them to provide a superior value for your customer. We've touched upon those two first points. Now quickly, I think if we look at digital business strategy over the past years, it was always about digitizing your individual products or services, and creating a digital business model for your company. But again, in the ecosystem economy, it will be really about providing digital services within the entire ecosystem, which means that competitive advantage will be determined not by the strengths of just you as a single company, but by the strengths and also by the innovativeness of the entire ecosystem and its partners around. And of course, this will also have significant impacts on the IT buying behavior and on IT strategies and sourcing decisions. I think we have seen before that the data platforms are really the heart of the ecosystem. So the technology platform a company is using will determine very strongly which ecosystem partners can be easily integrated or not. So the strategic technology decision you are taking today can have a major impact on your future options to how to act within or how to easily build or join an ecosystem. So we believe that probably for IT buying or sourcing decisions, it will become much more important how open a platform is, how they can provide open APIs, and how maybe the size of the or the variety of an existing ecosystem around the platform looks like, rather than just, you know, looking at classical decision criteria like features or prices that have determined the purchasing decision with business application suites, where you more or less look at your individual business. And of course, the openness of the platform and the size of the ecosystem around will also determine IT providers' competitive advantage in the future. And the last point I want to touch upon here is that this means, of course, also for IT providers that they kind of have to rethink their traditional go-to-market strategies. Industry expertise has always been a key USP for an IT provider, and many sales organizations are still strongly organized around verticals. But we believe in the future cross-industry ecosystem expertise will become at least equally important. For example, if you're a public sector expert, that does not guarantee that you're an expert when it comes to smart city solutions, as you may lack expertise in utilities or in public transportation, etc. So we believe it will be very crucial for IT providers and for their competitiveness to be able to help your customers to orchestrate services within an ecosystem. That will be a very highly valued competence from a technology perspective as well as from a business consulting perspective. So I don't want to keep you too long, so let's quickly summarize what we recommend for our IT buying companies, and on the last slide after this I will come to the recommendations for our IT vendors. I think it is very, it should have become clear that it's very important to stop thinking about classical vendor categories or industries. We believe it's important to think in human needs rather than in those classical frames that we used to think about. And that also means that you have to scrutinize how you think about your competition. So don't just look at the players in your specific industry, but really look at the players in and also at emerging ecosystems in other industries that might invade your business or maybe also enrich your business. So we really have to get rid a bit of those classical industry vendor category thinking. Also, we believe it's important to scrutinize a bit how you think about R&D and innovation. Often they were kind of closed areas within the company and kept as a secret a bit, not really, but I think it's in an ecosystem economy it becomes really important to look at open co-innovation, how you can not just innovate your individual services or products, but really innovate within the ecosystem of partners and provide service aggregation innovation. And also we touched upon that it's really important that to be aware that your strategic technology decisions today can have an impact on your future options for building or joining an ecosystem. And last not least, I think it is crucial that not to wait. It's crucial to start today. If you have worked in partnerships in the past, you know, it takes time. Ecosystems will take time to grow. You have to try, you have to test, you have to build up trust. So in our view, it's really important to start analyze the potential for ecosystem options today and start building partnerships and really be willing to change a bit your thinking. And it's clear that you cannot enter into a perfect ecosystem today. It has to evolve and it has to be done iteratively. So start today to have time to really learn on the way and not be run over by the developments out there in the market. On the IT solution vendor side, we've already touched upon a couple of points here. We believe that it's very important that IT providers really enhance their ecosystem expertise on the business consulting as well as on the technology consulting side. Understanding how cross-industry disruptions will impact a business will